Right, you lot, and it is the big one. It's the one you've all been waiting for. It's the top 10 people, they're all celebrities, of 2024. 2024 was a year of, well, bloody hell. What a year that was. So much discourse, so much drama, and a lot of people that messed up, so I'm going to get to this. Now, I want to make a few disclaimers before we get into this list. I've avoided putting political figures or politicians on this list, although I'm not going to pretend that this list isn't in some way politically biased, because of course it's going to be. We're all politically biased, and it's a lie if we say we aren't, you know what I mean? So, but the reasons that I put people on these lists are not to do with their political opinions, due to other stuff. Although there are one or two figures that are related to politics, but for different reasons, the likes of Donald Trump and Joe Biden could have both made this list, and I've objected to put neither on here because, wow, the politician lied again. Like, it's not very exciting, is it? I'd rather talk about Hock Twa. She's not on the list either. Well, I've done a whole video on that already, so there's no point talking about her again. Okay, let's get to the 10. It's only 10 this year. Coming in 10th place, I've gone for Vinicius Jr. Now, if you don't know who Vinicius Jr. is, he's a footballer. He plays for Real Madrid, he's Brazilian, he's one of the best and most respected in the world. Now, many people, including myself, believe that Vinicius Jr. would win the 2024 Ballon d'Or. The Ballon d'Or is a glamorous trophy, at least it's meant to be, but no one actually takes it seriously anymore. So it was meant to be given to the best player in the world each year, and this year it was given to Rodri of Man City, who was a very deserving winner. Now, you'd expect Vinicius Jr., who expected to win, didn't win. You'd expect him to show absolute gratitude and respect to Rodri and be honoured to even sit on the ballot and to take second place. Well, that isn't what happened. Not only Vinicius Jr., but the entirety of Real Madrid decided that they would stay behind and not go to the ceremony. What were their reasons again? Something about not being respected, and I'm really confused what their issue was, as Karim Benzema, Luka Modric and Cristiano Ronaldo had all won the Ballon d'Or for Real Madrid in recent years, so it's not like they've been purposefully neglected or ignored consistently. I just think the whole thing was absolutely embarrassing, and Vinicius deserves his placement on the list. In 9th place, I've gone for Jeremy Clarkson. People are not going to like this. Jeremy Clarkson, I hate to do this, to be honest, because he's one of the most staple and one of the most likeable people in British television. So it's quite horrible to put a man that I like so much on the list, but the reality is, he just refused to take accountability. Now, this year, the farmers, they came on their tractors, fighting the unfair, the unjustified inheritance tax that they believed it was wrong that they were paying, which, I mean, no one wants to pay more money, do they? So you can kind of see why they were angry. Or putting him on here because I disagree with his calls necessarily, or I'm not putting him on here because I think he was wrong to do this. I think protest is one of the most powerful and important things that you can do, but just his lack of accountability and his motives for doing it are quite obvious. We know he bought the farm to avoid the tax, now he's got to pay the tax. He's obviously not happy about that, but instead of being blunt and open about that, he tried to claim he was doing it for the greater good.
That I bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax. The fact.
You told the Sunday Times in 2021 that's why you bought it. Sorry?
Something called to fight or something. I didn't really get it, and he was called out on this, and the whole thing was just embarrassing, to be honest. So that's why I put him on the list, although it pains me to do it. But I still love Top Gear. I'm just putting it out there. 8th place, we've got Mr. Beast. Now, if you don't know who Mr. Beast is, you've probably been living under a rock, because even your nan probably knows this man. Mr. Beast is the perfect example of either dying a hero or living long enough to see yourself become the villain, because this guy once upon a time was YouTube royalty. This man everybody loved. He couldn't hurt a fly. He was like the Robin Hood of YouTube. Just YouTube's answer to David Attenborough, some legend that we all respected. But in 2024, his career took absolute nosedive. He had a handful of controversies that scale in difficulty. Now, it all started when his lifetime friend, someone who'd been in this video from the start, Ava Tyson, received criticism and was outed as grooming and saying inappropriate things to minors and just some very disgusting, appalling stuff, and that was very upsetting to take for a lot of reasons. And Jimmy was found to be on the Discord servers where she was interacting and doing these inappropriate things, and it was proven later to be him. And although we kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt, it was not a good look for Jimmy. There was also the mental story that there was a registered sex offender in his videos years ago who was also Jake's brother. And I found that very funny because Jake was having a pop at the whole Ava thing, and then it found out his brother was a sex offender in the videos who did even worse than what Ava did. So that was the funniest thing of it all. That was mental. There was also the illegal lottery scandal where it was found that he was part of these illegal lotteries he'd do on live streams where they weren't as good as you'd think, and they were basically just scamming money off of kids. And at the end of the day, he had to make money back some way with all the charity work and all the great stuff he was doing, but at the same time it wasn't a good look. He's also accused of faking videos, which I didn't really think was that big of a blow. I think we all know the videos were manipulated in ways and weren't 100% reality, like that was just obvious. And finally there was Lunchley. Now, I've not put Logan Paul and KSI on this list because A, Logan Paul's main scandals were in other years, and B, KSI, all he really did was release the thick of it, and I've already done a video on that. But the Lunchley scandal was wrong because the product was clearly just selling something for the sake of it. It was not good quality, and it was found to have bloody mould in it in like 2 weeks. So that was not a good look. Okay, 7th on the list, and I've gone for Tommy Robinson. Okay, before you start shouting at me, let me elaborate why he's on this list right now. How do I describe him with the most neutral standpoint? He's a free speech advocate, let's say that. He's somebody who is very vocal in his beliefs, and he's kind of a speaker, I guess a bit of an activist, campaigning for the rights of Britain, and he's a very anti-Muslim character who believes the Quran is this evil book and there's this invasion going on. Now, I'm not going to comment on all of that because that's a whole other video, but my main problem with him wasn't necessarily what he did in the summer, because I can't really blame him because both sides lied about Southport, so you can't really criticise him for that. But well, you can, but not to the extent of this list. My main issue is when he came back. He was hyping up his return to the UK for 2 months on Twitter. It was like waiting to see Avengers Endgame in the cinema. Now, when he finally came and the moment came, he lasted about 5 minutes in the country, which you could argue was unjust, but the main issue was that he said when he went to court, oh, come on everyone, give me money, we're going to go in, we're going to be innocent, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. He folded in 5 seconds. He fell over like a dandelion being sat on by a skunk. Like, it was just embarrassing to watch. And he did all this, and the reality is, he's got the last laugh here, because he's going to make a bunch of money when he gets out, and he's going to go on a holiday and probably emigrate to another country, so you're an idiot if you donated to that guy, to be honest. Okay, 6th place. Do I have to talk about him again? I think I do. It's Philip Schofield. Now, in 2023, if you don't remember, Philip Schofield was outed as having a very inappropriate relationship with a young boy. Philip Schofield, my problem with this, and it's the same problem that I've got with Prince Andrew, ignoring what they've actually done, or haven't done, even though we all know that they have, it's the lack of accountability that they always have. It's the lack of, they can't put their hands on and say, I did this, it was wrong, I want to do better. It's more, did I really deserve this? My career is horrible, I've got bad mental health. Every excuse under the sun. So Philip Schofield made a big return to TV where he went to an island in Madagascar. Now, most of the TV show is just watching Philip doing really mundane things in Madagascar where he's just over-exaggerating how difficult it is. But in every time you hear him talk about the controversy, he doesn't really address it full on or do it in a respectful, insightful way. You'd have respect for Philip if he took some time away and really had gratitude and came to the senses. But no, it was performative, and it came off of him just trying to make you feel sorry and saying, oh, did I really deserve to lose my career for grooming a child?
Yeah, that's it. It's done. You're not going back on Monday.
you did, Philip, yes. Like, you don't deserve a TV career after that. Just appalling, and I just think his lack of accountability and his sympathy mongering is just embarrassing. So that's why he's on the list. Okay, the top 5 now. I've kind of cheated with 5th place because it's 3 people. We got Dr. Disrespect, Cody Ko, and Ava Tyson. I've already gone on about Ava earlier, so I don't need to talk about that again. But all 3 of these people, it seemed to happen within the same month, where all your favourite veteran YouTubers or content creators on the internet were being accused of paedophilia, which... is it that surprising? Now, I do understand to point innocent to proven guilty, but the evidence was undeniable, and it looks bad even if they're technically innocent. The best of the 3 cases was Dr. Disrespect, where there was some sort of discourse there, like maybe he didn't know, maybe it wasn't all true, but it was a weird one, Dr. Disrespect. He got banned years ago, and only now did it come out what he actually did, which is just quite appalling, in my view. Overall, I just think there's not really much to say about these 3 people. They're groomers, of course they deserve to be on the list. 4th place, and this is another one that really annoys me, is Russell Brand. Every year, there seems to be one celebrity that you used to love who just shows their true colours and is revealed to be this horrible monster. I bet it's how people felt being like Louis C.K. fans in, 2017, 18 when all the Me Too stuff was happening. And that's how Russell Brand fans must have felt this year, because no, I'm not talking about his turn to the alt-right pipeline, although that was embarrassing. More the fact that he's a sex offender who's rightfully going to jail. He really showed his true colours, didn't he, this year? You know what I mean? And this was a respected comedian in a lot of senses, and now he's just been revealed as this mental guy, to be honest. He's fallen down all the pipelines that you just hate, and it just seems a bit desperate at this point. I'm sorry, but it is. Okay, coming into the top 3 now, and I put Drake. Now, I feel quite bad putting Drake this high up on the list, because below him we've got people that have been accused to, and proven to have, done ungodly things to people. We've got people here who've done much worse than Drake, but it's because it's Drake that he's this high up. Now, one of the big beefs and big moments of the year was the Drake versus Kendrick Lamar beef. It was like Tupac versus Biggie all over again, except neither of them were killed this time, so I guess it was better. Now, whereas with the Tupac Biggie debate, there's some debate over who won, although it's kind of well known that Tupac was better. Kendrick wiped the floor with Drake here. Drake did some quite questionable antics during his rollout run. He did an AI song where he used an AI Tupac and an AI Snoop Dogg, and then had to take down the song in an hour because he didn't actually ask permission to do that. Now, Kendrick absolutely wiped the floor with him. In his songs, he accused Drake of being a paedophile and for having another child that he doesn't see. It was stark killing, and Drake did the worst possible thing with his response to Heart Part 6, where he basically said the line, "I'm too famous to be a paedophile," which might be the worst way I've seen someone respond to grooming allegations since Colin Ballinger's Toxic Gossip Train. It was mainly how Drake dealt with the allegations. He didn't take it on forefront, he didn't cleverly disprove it, he didn't even try, he just said, "Oh, the Epstein angle was the shit I expected," but it wasn't a good look. I just don't know how you can recover. I think he just got absolutely embarrassed. Lewis, editor note here, and since I recorded and came up with this video, it's got worse for Drake, as he's accused Spotify and tried to sue multiple companies of apparently promoting the Kendrick song. He's taken loss about as poorly as Tyson Fury in the first fight against Usyk, who he also lost to Usyk again the other night, but that's a whole other thing. Okay, we got 2 people left on this list. The runner-up is P. Diddy. Do I really need to explain why he's on the list? Can we just move on to number 1? Obviously P. Diddy was going to be on the list. You'd be mental to not put him on it. Now, there really was no party like a Diddy party, and there really was no story like P. Diddy this year. The once beloved rapper Puff Daddy, also known as P. Diddy, was well exposed of all sorts of horrendous things to do with abuse and rape and all of this horrible stuff, which I'm not going to go into because I feel like it's a bit more light-hearted on this channel. But the reality is that I've not seen a career fall off like P. Diddy, and it's terrible now because I feel like it's really opened a gateway to many other people to come forward about other people that were associated to Diddy, and I'm not going to make assumptions because it's very hard, and I think one of the dangerous things people are doing is saying that everyone who ever had ties to him must have known and must have been involved, when Diddy was a major figure in the industry. So, to be honest, most people did work with him at some point or have some tabs with him, so it's not that far-fetched to assume that they didn't know or they weren't involved. And I think, and the number one worst celebrity, Elon Musk. Oh, I'm not putting Elon Musk on this list because I'm salty that he manipulated the election, which, for anyone who's saying he didn't, okay, he used Twitter as a right-wing mouthpiece to insinuate the support of Donald Trump, and anyone who's denying that is just akin to reality, and it's okay, that's fair enough. If that was his plan, congratulations Elon, you were successfully able to do that, and you got what you wanted, so I don't really know what you're upset about. But my main problem with Elon, A, is just the horrendous state of Twitter, just all like the bugs, the bots, the terrible algorithm, the amount of dodgy stuff you see without being reported, the terrible report system, the fact he got rid of most of the stuff. Anyway, the list goes on, my problem with the app. The fact he calls himself an advocate for free speech, but he's not an advocate for free speech, it's just the free speech that he agrees with, that he supports and promotes, and he censors or bans free speech he doesn't agree with, so he's not an advocate for free speech. He claimed he wanted Twitter to be politically neutral. It couldn't be further from the case, so I think you've lied about two things there. But my main problem with Elon is the way he treated his daughter. I think is one of the most appalling and horrendous things you can do as a father, to say things like his child is dead to him just because they're living their life as who they are in themselves, and to use that as a catalyst for everything that you did. Disgusting. How can you disown your child for not doing anything illegal, not committing any crimes, just being themselves? I think is a horrendous and inhumane thing, you know what I mean? I think no matter what side you're on, whether you like him or not, you've got to admit that you should not do that to a child. You know, I've seen parents of serial killers still give them the time of day, where that's an example where you probably could cut them off. I think Elon's a joke, a disgrace, and that's why I put him on this list. So yeah, that was my top 10 worst people of the year. Maybe I'll be on the list next year. We'll see. And yeah, if you do disagree with any of these placements or the reasoning that I've given behind the placements, I'm happy to have that debate in the comments, because I feel some of these are quite divisive, and one thing I love is to hear other alternative opinions, and sometimes you hear things that maybe might tater your view and might challenge you, and I think that's very exciting. So if you do disagree, although please don't try and defend Diddy, see you lot soon. I've got some good videos coming up next year. I'm going to do a top 10 best and worst songs of the year, or like hit songs, and I'm also going to do a video of Moana 2 and why I'm boycotting it. I've also got a new song coming out soon, so I'll see you lot soon.